Tonight, we're here at another Detroit favorite, the Drunken Retort Open Mic at the Hopcat. We came for the featured poet Azizi Jasper. Azizi's poetic style and influence is that of a poetic Black James Bond, calm, cool, and collected. The Drunken Retort is another one of Detroit's staples in the poetry community. This is Detroit culture, so as a poetic offering, we present to you Azizi Jasper, the Hopcat, and more dope poets and musicians for yet another fantastic Ready, Set, Flow.
Ready, Set, Flow. We are here at the Hopcat in Detroit at 4265 Woodward at Canfield in Detroit, Michigan, every Sunday night with host Azizi Jasper of the Drunken Retort, of the Put Up or Shut Up. What up, though?
What up, though? How you doing, Queen?
Good. How are you?
I'm wonderful. Glad to be here.
Yeah, thank you so much for having us to come out and talk to you about the wonderful things that you are doing for the artistic community in Michigan, right here in Detroit.
Definitely, man. I love this city. Like, this city is artistic inspiration at its finest, you know. So I'm glad I can contribute in the way that I've been able to so far.
So tell us what brought you here you're from Grand Rapids, right?
From Grand Rapids, yes.
What brought you from Grand Rapids to Detroit?
Well, Grand Rapids is like, that's home or whatever. That'll always be home. Like, that's my place. I absolutely love it. But Detroit has so much culture, and it has such a rich culture, and there's so many of us that are doing so many positive things here. And that was always attractive to me. I was born in Flint, so I've always had a connection to the east side of the state. I spent a lot of my summers in Flint. I spent, the school year in Grand Rapids. But I've always been in love and just felt the gravitas of Detroit, the artistic scene, the culture, the people. It's a beautiful place, so I'm honored to be here doing my thing and contributing in the way that I am.
And when you say doing your thing is poetry, your thing is activism, your thing is education. Tell us about who Azizi Jasper is as a person, a poet, and artist.
Well, I think as a person, I'm a human being that's trying to grow and that's trying to positively contribute, to my community and to my surroundings. I think it's really that simple. I've always been a writer. I've always been a huge fan of hip hop. I've always read. I've always read a lot of books or whatever. So I think my love for poetry probably came from the mixture of growing up listening to Wu-Tang and Mobb Deep and Tupac and the Dog Pound and these different lyrical influences, and mixing that with I was raised, my mom and dad made sure that I got a really good education or whatever, so I always was able to see both sides of things. Like, I had a heavy hip-hop influence, but I was also reading E. Cummings and Chaucer and Shakespeare and those sorts of things. And I think poetry just meshes everything. Everything is poetry, right? To borrow from the good brother Mr. right? Poetry can be anything can be poetry. And I think that's where I fell in love with it, because the potential is limitless. From an activism standpoint, my community is just in need of so much, right? And I feel like for the people walking the planet that were fortunate enough to have certain things allotted to them, whether it's education, whether it's the ability to put clothes on your back, whether it's just the ability to feed your family, and was raised a certain way, we have it's incumbent upon us to give back to those who gave us the love, and to those who might not be so fortunate to have had those things. I think that our people, Michigan, and Black people, we give so much to the world, right? And oftentimes it's looked at as if the world has given us so much or whatever, but really it's our contributions that are the backbone for the nation, right? And I'm trying to carry on the likeness of my ancestors and do whatever it is that I can to better society, to push poetry, to push literature and literacy for our people, and to make the world a better place if possible. To be cliche.
Generalizations of a generation via future hindsight if we don't save it. My generation was filled with rebels whose only cause was rebellion. So many causes went neglected and they fell into oblivion, and opinionated people with miseducated opinions, or domesticated people convinced they had no dominion. My generation was filled with men and women who sought the truth with their eyes closed, fishing for religion in waters too shallow for God to flow, but it was deep enough for my generation to drown in. My generation was filled with politicians that manipulated politics, capitalists that participated in politics, so my generation was filled with politicians that were capitalist. My generation's politics were capitalism. My generation occupied Wall Street. But my generation also occupied Walmart. And those that occupied failed to laser in on one single problem, so the beam did not remove my generation's tumors, it only shed light. My generation destroyed the environment. Then my generation became environmentalist. My generation hated poverty, but my generation was disproportionately poor. My generation hated poverty, but not as much as it hated its poor, because my generation kept its poor impoverished. My generation allowed Dr. King's legacy to be summed up in 5 minutes worth of sound bites. My generation allowed a 500-year struggle to be summed up as Dr. King's legacy. My generation was full of social networkers, but my generation was socially awkward. My generation was on the computer all the time, but my generation was still overwhelmingly illiterate. My generation fought to use the word nigger. My generation was ignorant. My generation didn't take care of its kids. My generation were kids when they had kids. My generation called this woman out of her name. My generation was filled with a bunch of numbers, no names. My generation neglected its sisters. My generation feared its brothers. My generation locked its brothers in its prisons. My generation made prison an industry. Thus, my generation gave those that filled its prisons an incentive. My generation had a fear of countries that never attacked us. My generation caused turmoil. My generation backed rebels without a cause. My generation's cause was oil. My generation raped Palestine, but my generation didn't see it on TV. So my generation did not know, because my generation did not read. My generation overthrew Mubarak and they killed Gaddafi, and my generation meddled in the Middle East, and Egypt and Libya and Palestine and Syria became more violent than my generation had ever seen. My generation's music was digital, even when it was acoustic. My generation's cameras were excessive and its talent was elusive. My generation thought that TV was reality. My generation lived vicariously. My generation was cellular. My generation cloned its meat. My generation gave dogs and cats immunity, but swine and cows are better known as pork and beef. My generation gave itself cancer. My generation damaged its health. My generation made healthcare expensive. My generation equated life with wealth. My generation was pregnant with potential, but my generation aborted itself. Generalizations of a generation via future hindsight if we don't save it. Thank you.
And you do it well. You've shared many stages with some names that people will readily identify with, and some poets from around the world who are yet to be discovered. Who are some of your favorite poets that you have ever stayed with?
Oh man, I've had the honor to, I've had shows with the late great Gil Scott Heron, Saul Williams, Amari Baraka, actually. I have so many. There's so many, and that's on the major scale. Some of my favorite poets are people that, like you said, the world hasn't necessarily heard of. My partners, my man Foster and Fable, phenomenal writers. There's so many. It's like it's hard to. I have so many. I'm a sponge when it comes to my peer community, the artistic community. Rosemary Wilson, you're phenomenal. Like I have so many positive influences around me. Pierre Anthony, Caesar Toriano, as you said, Omari Exodus Rising. The list just could go on. So I feel like as an artist, we are a reflection of the environment that we're a part of. Right? We tell the story, the good, the bad, and the ugly. I've been fortunate enough to have a lot of positive influences around me, and it makes me want to influence people in a positive way as well.
Now, you guys have been operating the open mic here on Sundays at the Hopcat since last year, so it's a year.
Yeah, we're going on a year. It's our first year.
Okay. But you have experienced Detroit poetry from coming back and forth between Grand Rapids and Detroit for many years.
Absolutely.
So as such, what is it that you have learned or gained or that you seek from some of the poets here in Detroit that you emulate? The Omari, Caesars, Pierre Anthony, what is it that you take from them that you have never experienced in Grand Rapids?
Definitely. I think the beautiful thing about Detroit is there's really no facade, right, to the people or whatever. Like it's the best artists in the city are what I would describe as just pure energy. Right, and it's just an amazing energy and vulnerability that you get from the artists in the city that you feel when they're on stage, and it's just inspirational. Grand Rapids is inspirational in its own right. It's a place that that birthed me and birthed the artist within me. But it's so different. It's really different to describe. So I feel like with me, my experience being a Grand Rapidian living in Detroit now, it's the best of both worlds sort of situation, right? Because I love Grand Rapids for the organization and for the cleanliness and things are just well organized and it's cool. Like it's a cool place to explore, kind of find yourself. You can find solitude in Grand Rapids. There's not that much hustle and bustle that's going on. Detroit. This is a place of pure energy. It's a place of raw emotion, and it's a place that has such a history and a current circumstance of immense struggle and immense oppression. And the best art always comes from that. It's the rainbow, that comes with the rain, so to speak. So I just want to, make sure that I'm positively contributing to whatever environment that I'm in. That's why mentoring is super important to me. I mentor about 20 young men and women in my day job, and that's just the 14 through 17 or whatever, but some of the brightest minds that I've ever come in contact with, and it always amazes me that the next generation, the next generation is so on point, and the things that they're not on point about is because our generation dropped the ball, right? The prior generation dropped the ball, absolutely. So we have work to do. I'm a believer in each one teach one. I'm a believer in African-centered education, and I'm a believer in the concept of the village, right? So it's all our responsibility to improve the environment that we're in, and whatever it is that we can improve, and whatever way we can improve. And I'm just trying to do my part.
This goes out to all of the walking stereotypes. To the brother on the corner selling genocide to make ends meet. To the white boy from the suburbs listening to old school shit, old school hip hop, because it's the realest shit he can think of to do. This goes out to the Asian girl who loves math and doing nails. To the stoner that skips class to go buy weed from the aforementioned brother on the corner. To the kid that dresses in black, paints his fingernails, and wears makeup just like thousands of other different people just to be different. This goes out to you. This goes out to the green tea drinking, sushi eating, Oprah watching, Bush voted for, Obama voting for, $1,000 vacuum cleaning, hybrid driving, independent film watching, tuna noodle casserole for dinner cooking white woman. That's having an affair on her husband with the Mexican landscaper. This goes out to that Mexican landscaper, who's really from Guatemala but doesn't care to explain shit because he's fucking the wife of the man that says he can't speak a lick of English. This goes out to that man, married to that woman, that's having an affair with the Mexican landscaper, that goes out and keeps his white picket fence manicured to the T while he drives his Volvo SUV to important meetings discussing unimportant things while his marriage crumbles and he doesn't even fucking know it. Yeah, this goes out to him. Let's not forget, ladies, the Tyler Perry movie watching, I can do bad all by myself, Morris Chestnut fantasizing, Pontiac G6 driving, church choir singing, coupon clipping, gym membership but never going, let go and let God rationalizing black woman. It can't find a good man, but she does like that one guy that read that one poem, that one night, at that one spot. Here's to that guy, at that spot, that wrote that one poem. With his haiku writing, incense burning, turkey bacon eating, brown wearing, Oakland, California dreaming, dreadlocking, Kahlua sipping, political blog writing, Spike Lee joint watching, million man marching brother that loves white girls because he can't find a sister that understands him. This goes out to that one spot. You look to the left, you look to the right, you don't see who I'm talking about, it might be you. This goes out to all the artists. To the black guy, still rapping, solely for the simple fact that he's black. To the white guy that has no type of rhythm whatsoever except for when he plays the drums. This goes out to the 63 white people across the globe that cannot play guitar. Special mention to the 18 of them that are not amputees. This goes out to the, I'm serious, though, every white person I know can play guitar. Damn near, like a good 92%. Anyway, this goes out to the freedom of speech crying, no freedom fighting, sparkle revolution from the comfort of your iPad, Jill Scott listening, assalamu alaikum but Christian, couldn't stand Bush, can't stand Obama, free Mumia, Lil Boosie, and Asada. And let's not forget the pseudo-abstract. The world just does not understand me because I'm so deep thinking. Can't create shit unless you're stoned or drinking. Wrist slitting, Stone Temple Pilots tape playing, State of the World complaining, Robert Frost quoting, all throughout college cliff noting. I remember your ass from Morning Star, but now my hookah lounge is too smoky. Oh. Yeah, you got that. And let's not forget the female poet. You know, the one that got out of that terrible relationship 12 years ago, but hasn't written about anything else since. And that includes the 34 or so that about how you're finally over it, with her almost stalking, late night creeping, never sleeping, showing up to the same poetry spots, subliminal jab throwing, I'm a lady, not a hoe, and oh yeah. Back to the black guy, still rapping, that uses the word nigger around white people, opening that whole ass cross cultural pseudo-rite of passage, provoking all the non-black people in the room to see if they can say the beloved word as well. No. And to all the writers that don't read, no. And speaking of writers, this goes out to the literary bloke, the Chaucerian, Shakespearean I before E, except after C, unless EE wrote a type joke that'll take other people's hard-earned thoughts and won't quote, that'll take 238 lines to write about the veins of a butterfly but couldn't change their tone, their timing, their emotion if their mother died. Thinking your words are deeper because none of your verses rhyme. Never stood for shit but felt the need to occupy you. Anti-establishment fuck that always wants the other guy. This poem goes out to you. This poem goes out to all the poets that criticize hip-hop as if there's really a difference. This goes out to all the rappers that criticize poets. This goes out to everybody that fails to see the hypocrisy within their own cipher. This goes out to you. Thank you.
Focus One Entertainment is Detroit's premier entertainment company. But we're not just an entertainment company. We are your #1 multimedia resource. Focus One has combined years of talent and experience in order to bring you what you're looking for in a video, a polished professional product. F1 Entertainment specializes in filming workshops, seminars, and corporate presentations. More and more businesses are utilizing video production services to create web commercials, online marketing content, and promotional and corporate training videos. Your company can do the same with Focus One Entertainment. Contact Focus One Entertainment at 313-444-3638 or visit us on the web at www.focusoneentertainment.com.
So since you've been here and you're experiencing the arts, you're passionate about it, has that influenced your more recent work?
Definitely, absolutely. I think every environment that I'm in influences anything that any art that I'm doing in that environment. So I say that to say, if I'm on a plane, being 30,000 feet in the air is going to have an influence on the art that I'm creating at the time. If I'm, wherever it is that I am or whatever. So I think as an artist, we are artists like a living, breathing, like document. It's ever changing, right? And if it's not changing, like that's when it gets stale. Like that's when we need to figure something else out as artists, right? So I always want to push the envelope. I always want to be evolving, and I always want to be striking and stand out to people. I think that art should influence people, and it can influence people negatively or positively, but it has to influence people. It has to be impactful to be something that I want to be a part of, right? So I want to always leave an impression with people. Every time they see me on stage, every time they meet me, I want to leave a certain impression of quality, and I want to leave a certain impression of forward thinking and progressive thinking in whatever it is that I do.
Wow, and young people, you can learn a lot from him. What he just said packs a mouthful, because every time I see him, his attitude and his demeanor is just like so peace, and he's so strong in his word. So can you share some of those words with us today?
Oh, spit a little something?
Just a little something.
Let's see. What do I have? My verses, their verses are worthless. I spit these verses with purpose, scratch beneath the surface of your epidermis. I know that I got them nervous. The linguists who see the words, but you think this before you heard the stage is a fucking circus. I'm slapping these coward senses, make the establishment nervous. Establish its understanding, overstanding's the purpose. I'm standing over my city, planning over my shoulders, overseeing overseers until our people get over. Our people under arrest, always under suspicion. Got them afraid to hang with niggas, cause Willie could really lynch them. Beautiful black people, separate and unequal. The melanin on our skin got them locking us in the Pinot. They sip bottles of Pinot, we slaves to the same people. Fluoride is in our water, they calcified our Pinot. Yeah, that's more where that comes from. But
yes, and where can we find you, Azizi?
You can find me each and every Sunday here at the Drunken Retort at Hopcat, here on Woodward. What's that? I forgot.
4265 Woodward Avenue at Canfield in Detroit, Michigan.
She's so on point, man. Shout out to Rosemary. But yeah, you can catch me at Hopcat. You can catch me at El Piblon Village, working with the kids Monday through Friday. And really somewhere everywhere. I'm actually working on a book that's going to be done, Lord willing, within the next couple of months. Working on an audio project. It's going to be like it's going to be a part of a package. So I'm really looking forward to 2016 from an artistic standpoint. Going to be making a lot more noise. Looking forward to getting back on the road and traveling. So yeah, gonna be some of everywhere. Stay tuned. Connect with me on Facebook, Azizi Jasper. That's AZIZIJASPER. Or on Twitter at Azizi AZIZI Hassani HASANI. Connect with me. I'm always on social media, like raising hell. So
that group. What's the name of the group?
Building Black.
Building Blackness. Yeah.
Definitely. So yeah, I'm here to build. I want to build with as many positive people as possible. So looking forward to connecting with your viewers. I really appreciate this platform and everything that you do. Your contribution to the city, can't be measured. You've always, even since I came here within the last 2 years, and we knew each other before then. But you just do so many things. And there's so many incredible things, and they're powerful. They get the community involved, and you're just an amazing woman. I just really appreciate what you do. So
thank you.
Definitely.
You are too kind.
This poem is different. I sit here waiting patiently for you while wine I'm sipping, chiseling in this here notepad these hieroglyphics, spiritual and comedic diction intertwining so tightly that you would swear that my facts are fiction. Typically, I hate love poems because cliches, they lack conviction.
What else?
And I'd be damned if I just use my art to simply mac a vixen, but this here poem will be different if you just sit back, relax, and listen. Truthfully, you stay on my third eye like these other two lacking vision, leaving me speechless like I lack in diction. But the truth is, girl, words simply cannot describe a goddess, and for me to attempt to would be sacrilegious, you see.
Right.
I promise.
Don't hurt him, bro.
You that this here poem shall be different. I caught a glimpse of your silhouette in the mirror. I had the wax spinning, writing wax poetics with the wax dripping. Black visions from black eyes follow black thighs across rooms. Listening to 4/5's birds tune. Sepia is the mood, smoke consumes the ozone, kind of blue, tis the mood. Her body twas cold work, yet hotter than end of June. Hard to keep my cool, let alone not drool, but no sweats. She'll be wet long before I do. Don't hurt him, bro, don't hurt him. I swore. If all were fair between love and war, she'd be cheating with the way she moves. Sipping a Stella as she grooves, secondhand smoke mellows as it soothes. Her body shaped like a cello when she's nude. We should roll like a Rello. Me and you, I told her. I see. Cappuccino complexion of Folgers. Pull me close and feel my heartbeat via osmosis. Our chemistry's real like haikus from soldiers. The closer she is, the harder it is for me to focus. Peace.
There's one more thing I'd like to ask you about the series, and what is unique is when you schedule your artists to feature, they get not one feature, but 3 features, 3 different days at all of your venues. Tell us about that.
What we're trying to do here at Hopcat essentially is create an environment where we can tour just using our venues, right? So right now we have 3 shows that we do. It's Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. One is here in Detroit, obviously. Sunday, the Drunken Retort. Monday is in Grand Rapids is Stella's. It's the same, the show is called the Drunken Retort as well, but we got Detroit, we got Grand Rapids, and then we got Tuesday Put Up or Shut Up, which is in Kalamazoo. And that's hosted by my partners Fable and Foster, as well as my buddy Mitch Burns. Shout out to Mitch.
Yeah.
And it's just a great sort of network of shows that's ever expanding. We want to always keep it about quality, over quantity, right? So any environment that we're in, we try to make sure that we dig to find the best artists in the city and the best representation of the city, so that the shows are all uniquely attuned to whatever place it is that we have them in. So as the venues expand, our tours and our shows are going to be expanding. So we look forward to, within the next 5 years, being in a lot of different cities.
Yeah, I wish you all the best in that, and I know you're gonna make it happen and keep it moving for the artistic community. You doing it. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And we will see you soon on Ready, Set, Flow. Azizi Jasper.
Focus. The state or quality of having or producing clear definition. Focus One Entertainment is the premier videography company in the Midwest. We specialize in weddings, corporate events, documentaries, sporting events, and films. Regardless of the scope or budget, we approach every project the same way, by capturing and clearly defining your vision. Contact us at 313-444-3638 or www.focusoneEntertainment.com. Our featured host tonight is slam champion, producer, poet, host, lyricist, and storyteller Ben Jones.
We are here at MixBricktown on a Tuesday night, 641 Bobien in Detroit, with the host of the open mic, Mr. Ben Jones himself.
What's poppin'?
What up, though? You are doing some amazing things with the arts and different venues here in the city. How do you get it all done every night of the week?
A whole lot of help. I got a big team, and I got a lot of people that keep me focused, that keep me grounded, keep me well-rounded, and just believe in the vision.
And how long have you been doing poetry and the spoken word and promoting your events here in Detroit?
Well, I started doing poetry 16 years ago with a poetry collective called Black Ink Collective, and I was doing poetry events and variety shows, and that kind of spawned off of me to doing party promotion events management, and that's what I've been doing.
And Black Ink Collective is yourself?
And about 60 other poets.
Wow.
And it started off with just 3 of us, and it kind of grew into this big family movement of artists, singers, drummers, dancers, into a cultural movement in the city. And it's been gave birth to different generations of poets within the collective.
So would you call yourself, are you more of a performance poet, a slam poet, a literary poet?
I do it all. You can't really limit yourself because poetry is an expression, poetry can come in many forms. You got people that do poetry without words, so you can't really limit poetry. But I study my craft, and I got some good mentors in the game, so I do it all.
And speaking of mentors, who are some of the poets here in Detroit that you just love to hear whenever you see them, you want to hear them drop a piece?
Of course, Roy Harris, Wardell Montgomery, Kari Kimani Turner, Cassie Poe, Jessica Caremore, Mental, the late and great Legacy. There's so many of them. We're rich with culture, and we're rich with poets in the city. We're rich with soul. So there's so many poets in the city that I just love, absolutely.
So here at mix?
Yourself as well. You're awesome.
You are too kind.
I don't know if y'all know that about her.
See, I was born on the block. Come on. Raised on the grind. My mother gave me balance and my father taught me scales. Nothing in the fridge, baking soda on the shelves, and a jar in the pot so I learned how to cook. My first recipe was crack cocaine. Now my brain's deranged, I'm switching 4 lanes in the range, and they all been Jones with the shit, man. Cause it's an eat the ghetto. See, tucked in old memories alleyway are rare seeds waiting to be watered, but clouds of diversity block the sun, and spores of poverty starve the soil, and grains of doubt mix in with the rain. The gutter soils everything else. See, deep down in this concrete jungle, where the Indian lands growing, even prophets gotta hustle. Selling the block, the mean muzzle was a kid with a Glock, them heads take to bust you. Don't become a victim of an uncircumcised situation and circumstance. See, around cage birds with a bitch right a 5-mile radius of their home, boy. Lead wings, frustrated on street corners, battle praying to iced out gods. Hope a woman just swing low with that 20-inch shoe, chairs and take it to 106 and park.
Focus One Entertainment is Detroit's premier entertainment company, but we're not just an entertainment company. We are your #1 multimedia resource. Focus One has combined years of talent and experience in order to bring you what you're looking for in a video, a polished professional product. F1 Entertainment specializes in filming workshops, seminars, and corporate presentations. More and more businesses are utilizing video production services to create web virtuals, online marketing content, and promotional and corporate training videos. Your company can do the same with Focus One Entertainment. Contact Focus One Entertainment at 313-444-3638 or visit us on the web at www.focusoneentertainment.com.
So the culture here at the Mix, when you come here for the open mic on a Tuesday, what is the poetic vibe that they're gonna get aside from the Ben Jones vibe? Poetic vibe here at Mix.
The perfect mix is exactly what it is. It's a perfect mixture of poetry. It's a perfect mixture of expression. It's a perfect mix of diversity. It's a perfect mix of culture. You get some of everything when you come to the Mix. I want everybody to feel welcome and invited because that's what art is. Art is about expression and universal feeling and connection and creating that oneness. So, you know, I'm glad that we've been able to curate that vibe and frequency here.
And you're right here in the heart of Bricktown in Detroit. Tell us about give us one example of something that has happened here in the city of Detroit that you were just like, damn, did that just happen here?
When I found out that the first time Martin Luther King performed the I Have a Dream speech that was at the Fox, that was culturally shocking to me. The history of Detroit is, you know, so rich and diverse. But I want to say recently, billionaires fighting over real estate in the city, 3,000 people, water getting shut off in the city. You know, those are monumental things globally. Those things affect, you know, global growth. Affects human rights everywhere. You know, water is a right, and that's a fight that we're having here in this city. That's starting in the city.
So you've been a staple in the community for the past 16 years. You slam, you perform. You aren't pigeonholed into actually being one type of poet. What are some of the things that you have seen change in the poetic culture here in the city since you've been on the scene?
When I first came into it, it was extremely way more serious. You know, it was nothing for phenomenal, well-crafted poet to criticize your work and constructively criticize it while you were on stage. And we kind of lost that and deviated from it, and it's become more freeform. But the good things about it is the textures and the freedom of the expression is allowing more avenues of people to jump into the poetry community and make it more bigger.
Whole schemes, blow, sell, deal, steal, kill, anything just one of those iced out feelings. Broken home, student loan, daddy's maybe, mama's baby, use his money, trap or die, get this money, aid assistance, make a deal, just stay in the jar, be that fitted, urbanize between bloodshot and open dreams of making goals and tall tees, we rest in peace, my nigga. And around here teddy bears grows on trees, my nigga. The second coming came and went, gunned down in the voids of a chalk line. But who am I? Who am I to play a slave to this page, enraged by the shit that I'm seeing every day? And some niggas is blood and some niggas is crip. Some niggas is thugs and some niggas is bitch. Some niggas ain't got nothing. Some niggas rich. Some niggas die for and then some living in shit.
So you are born and raised in Detroit?
Yes, east side.
East side. I knew I liked you.
Yes.
So, what do you feel about the poetic culture? How does Detroit influence what you write and how you live and how you breathe poetry?
Detroit is my habitat, and if I was God, I would live in Detroit. You got 24-hour Coney Islands, you got Burners, you got Belle Isle.
Better May.
Oh my God, Fago. It's nothing like a Detroit summer.
Yes.
You know, Detroit summers make you fall in love with Detroit. You know, you hate it in the winter, but it's nothing like the culture of Detroit in the summer. So the summer time in Detroit is what pushed me to write, pushed me to want to express and capture that moment and that frequency and that vibe, and to keep it summer all the time.
So can you drop us a little something real quick?
Okay. Last night I had this dream. I had this dream that Martin Luther King didn't have that dream. I saw this paper that would change this world as we know it, just glowing that southern sun with an eerie blankness that would haunt my unconsciousness as I watched that pen that would shout freedom from every mountaintop just drop from Mr. King's fresh in his hands and roll across that penny round table against suicide against Miss King's freshly waxed hardwood floors. And seeing this dream, I heard the sound made when it was falling, made the same sound those innocent children in Hiroshima heard, made the same sound those innocent children in Nagasaki heard, and I felt the same way those African kings and queens felt as shackles were appeared on my wrist and the reds of the suitcase slid down my brown cheeks, dripping off my chin, finger side of the homicide, facing home.
poetic legacy would you like to leave your imprint here on the city of Detroit?
Poetry don't belong to me. You know what I'm saying? I belong to poetry, so I just hope that I could help more young people pick up the craft of poetry and learn to express themselves, because expression has a lot to do with how we evolve as a human race. You know, illiteracy is what causes crime. You know, when you can't express yourself, you can't in a healthy manner communicate with another human being how you feel and how they made you feel. So if we get more people involved, young people especially involved in expressing themselves holistically, we might be able to change something. So in any form or way that I could give somebody a platform to facilitate that, you know, I did my part.
And you do that. You already do that, so you're doing it.
Take off those chains, my brother. Take off those shackles, my sister. Uplift your people, my people, grow frozen, let your hair grow. Can this show got them proud enough this 40 ounce of perm, let your straights kick and curl now up and choke this world. Now we dread lockups. We dread lockups. Let your follicles lock, let them lock you up for a reason. Modern day moving from the action ego apocalypse now when it's a revolution crying outside. It's a revolution crying outside. Where's my proud black men? Kente Clark wearing man. Where's that sister? Senator Proudly had that man with that shotgun. She be aiming for revolution. Screaming solutions. And don't come and picking yellow pills. Abortion kills generations. Let's form a nation within this nation. We rise again to watch stereotypes fall and I'll be calling all Afros, letting Americans know we just Afros. Not niggas, not blacks, not coloreds, just Afros. Who refuse to stand and put the lead to this land, this flag that raped my mom and sold my dad, and to the genocide for which it stands. Two nations. Slavery and segregation is just for all African Americans, Indian Americans, Arabic Americans. Recount my folks, recount my votes, and you can send me to Attica and gun me down in this yard, but you gonna give me liberty or give me death. Give me liberty or give me death. Give me liberty or give me death. And I will scream this to my last breath. Negro apocalypse. Now.
So where can we find you aside from at 641 Bovian in Detroit on a Tuesday night?
Well, I'm at Club Rain, which is located 2055 St. Alban and Gratiot. We do reggae after hours, 2 to wherever in the morning. I do something at the Yellow Wall from 10 until, which is located at 1501 West Lafayette. I'm here on Tuesdays. Be on the lookout for Wine and Whiskey Wednesdays. Some after school programs coming up for the kids and read, writing, and math, and aquaponics engineering. Be looking on the lookout for that. I'm doing everything.
And you're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and all the social media as?
Yes, Ben Jones on Facebook, and on Instagram, Ben Jones Detroit, Detroit Reggae, Detroit Poetry, Detroit Ghetto Tech on Facebook, so hit me up.
Alright, thank you so much, Ben, for the flow, and I will see and hear you soon.
Alright.
Thank you.
Join us next Friday at 7 p.m. for Ready, Set, Flow.